Hey guys, how's it going? This is David Sebastian coming to you from the home studio in Shirley. I'm excited to be with you guys again. Today we are going to work on a stencil from the TV show Letterkenny. I find the show to be very amusing, so I decided I would make a couple of stencils from it, and then we're going to lay them out and spray them as a test to see, how it works out and what it looks like. So I'm going to walk you through this whole process. Be straightforward and simple, really. I don't know how long it's going to take. Usually we're together 2 hours. Might be a little bit shorter than that today. So we'll kind of see how it goes. So I am the coordinator of Mentoring Arts Programming with Wayside, and I am here to talk to you about my programs and to do this artwork with you. My programs are brought to you by Wayside Youth and Family and the Department of Mental Health. My specific program is called Greenhouse Graphics, which you know if you're here on my YouTube channel. My program is a partnership between Wayside and the Department of Mental Health to create arts programming throughout Central Mass for young adults that are interested, as an alternate engagement method, as an expression method, anything that young adults want to use it for. I've been doing this for about 7 years. I really love it, and it's been going really well. Then the pandemic came along. I mostly am working with young adults directly at Tempo Young Adult Resource Center, which is in Framingham. They're at 68 Henry Street. I built a basement studio there and been working with young adults on Wednesdays and Fridays from 10:30 to 3 in an open studio type program. Really cool, and anybody 16 to 26 that's in the area, please come by and check it out. The other 3 days I'm out in the communities of Central Mass working with the young adults in that age. Excuse me. Anywhere I can find them, schools and youth centers and parks, wherever you can find young adults who are interested in doing art, we try to search them out and do whatever type of artwork they're interested in. Excuse me. My water brushes are falling all over the place. Cool. Sorry about that, you guys. That's what we do. We go all to different places and find the young adults, and then the pandemic comes along and throws all of our plans out the window. I had just gotten approval to work in a school, of 400 kids for 6 months, and I would get a chance to work with all of those 400 kids. Best year I've ever had was working with 100 young adults. That was my most successful year ever. So far on social media platforms, last month I had 2019 viewers. So we're being able to reach a lot more and different people. I wish there was a little bit more direct interaction because I don't really get to hear from you guys that much, mostly because of the screen between us. You know what I mean? Like, this is what happens, right? So anyway, anybody who's interested, I am absolutely watching all the comments and stuff. I'm interested in hearing from you guys. If anybody needs anything, I would love to hear from you. But, whatever you guys want. No pressure. Yeah. All right, so we are going to kind of get right into it. Like the process of creating the stencil is very easy. I've done a few stencil projects in the past here. They've all gone pretty well. I've had, they're not difficult. It does take a few pieces of gear. I'm working with a Mac. I'm working with iMac right now, and so you need some kind of a machine. I'm working with Photoshop and Silhouette. exhausted, and I'm just starting to work. um, you need Photoshop, and which is a great deal on Photoshop now. You can get it about 10. I think I pay like $20 a month or something like that, maybe 30, to have all of the Creative Cloud programs. The only thing you have to do is commit to having them for a year. Unbelievable deal since back in the day. I used to pay $1,500, like every other year they'd come out with a new one. So Silhouette, on the other hand, Silhouette Studio is a program that comes with the Silhouette Cameo cutter. It's a very easy to use matte program, but it's basically directly related to the Silhouette Cameo. The Silhouette Cameo is like a printer with a knife instead of a gun. You send it paths, and it'll follow the path with a knife and cut it out of whatever material you want. You can cut it out of anything up to chipboard or cardstock or something like that. You know, some heavy stuff, but why you would cut anything heavier, I don't know. I am mostly using acetate sheets. I'm guessing you guys can't even see that. Man, I'm sorry. I'm always so tired when I'm talking to you guys. I use acetate sheets, specifically these guys here, which were laser printing transparency films. Pretty cool. And they were crazy cheap. I found these at a flea market for free. I go to a lot of flea markets looking for this kind of stuff. I have 50 sheets in there. I've been using them for, I don't even know, maybe 2 or 3 years, and I haven't gone through them. I don't make stencils every day, so that's part of it, but it's also that you can save this material really well, you know. Clearly this is like an offcut, a couple more offcuts here. So you can definitely keep using it, you know, and I find that to be like really, really convenient. So we got to get into this stuff right away. There we go. All right. So we are going to get into it. For this project, I have to kind of work over here with you guys and then turn around and work sort of behind me with the machine that's there. So if I do a lot of turning around, I apologize. At least you guys can look at my new chair that I'm using. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to find our Letterkenny stencil that we're going to use, and see what we can find on the internet. So hold on just 1 second. Okay. All right, guys, like I said, sorry about that. So we're going to pretty much be looking at my desktop for a few minutes here anyway, so we'll kind of go from there. Right, so you guys can see my video running over here. So all I've done is look up Letterkenny logo in Google. Obviously, it's images. Got to be hydrated, man. Yep. All right. So the first thing you do is you go into Google and you search for Letterkenny logo, or any of these things. Letterkenny sticker, just the word Letterkenny, and you can get some really different types of stuff. So what I found in here was this stuff. There's in here is a tools option. You want to go with something that's kind of large. The obvious reason to use something large is to not have it blow out and do the what are they called? Anti-aliasing, right? Or the stepping around the edges. We don't want that. That doesn't look very good. So so you want to try to get something that's like high res. If you click on any of these images, they will tell you what their resolution is. Like if you hold your cursor over the artwork, it'll say it's 2250 by 869. That's a pretty good size. This one is a cool size, except that it's on a textured wood background. At the end, I plan to spray this. If this stencil works out, I plan to spray it on like wood, stained wood, and so that'll work out good. But this will be the test. So I like this one here. Of course, you can't see it, so why don't we just look at it over here? Whoops. I like this one here because the Letterkenny text was really clear. When I blew it up, though, this image here didn't really work so well. So I went with this for text and this for, for Stormy, which is the name of the dog. So all you have to do, if you want to use one of these pieces of artwork. Now I will say that you want to respect creator rights and make sure you're not like stealing artwork from people and that kind of stuff. But because these things are already stickers and decals, we're kind of stealing from people who are already reusing material. So I don't feel super bad about it, but keep it in mind that if you drew this and we were doing this with it, it would probably annoy you. So in any case, so that's what I did is I used this lettering here and the dog from over here. You can do one of two things. You can click here and say save image to downloads. We'll do that, and then it just goes to your downloads. Or you can say open image in a new tab, jump over to that new tab, and here it is. And then you can use the screen cap, which on the Mac is Command Shift 4. That gives you this crosshairs, and anything you drag, you'll take a photograph of that, and then it'll be available to you in your files. So that's how I would do that. The other is of course, like if we go in here and we say recent, this is the screenshot, right there, that we just took, and then in downloads, saved it as a weird file. So that's what can happen sometimes. You know what I mean? Which is why I do it the other way more often than not. You know what I mean? So if we go here and open up this screenshot, you see we got exactly, what we were looking for. The other one, I'm not sure what happened to it. Maybe if we open it up first. Let's see, down here. There we go. All right. Now what's cool about this is that it's, it's white, and white is a pretty easy surface to work with. So we pretty much got everything we need out of Google. This one here I liked because he seemed to be more high res. So why don't we keep this one too? And that's pretty much what we're going to do in Google. So now we take Google away and we switch back over to Photoshop. You see I've already scanned this, I've already opened this image into Photoshop. This is the second one we used. It looked like a die cut sticker. So this one was wound up of the three, this one was like the best one as far as resolution goes. Now we're only going to use what's black here. The white will be what we cut out. And so, this piece is, we don't have to go in and do any kind of adjustment, All I did was select the background, and let's see, we'll go right back there. All right, so this is what we got, right? And so then we went in here with the magic wand tool. Deselect. Went in here with the magic wand tool, right? Selected this, which is all of this white. Said Command Shift I, which is select inverse. And then once you select inverse, you can create a new layer. Below the layer we're working on, that's Command-Shift-N. And then over here, back to the layer we were on, we just hit delete. And that's going to erase everything except for our foreground, right? So then you go into our other layer. For me, I'm going to use the paint bucket tool, which is G on the keyboard. Keeping everything selected, right? You hit the paint bucket one time and deselect. Now looking at it, there's just one problem, right? So we want to switch to our paintbrush tool. Then we want to go with our eyedropper. You click your eyedropper once, and then you go over to the area that you're having trouble with. Right now we have our brush at 20. If we go up to around 40, we'd hopefully have enough room, enough brush to clean this up in 1/2 passes. You know what I mean? So this guy is looking really good. You know, I think this is really cool, and I think that he's going to work really fine. Let's see. This is the Letterkenny that we decided to use. I'm going to use that one. Always have a couple of things open that I have no idea what they are. Alright, so let's go ahead and get rid of that one too. D on the keyboard, when it asks you if you want to save, it is probably my favorite thing. Control Tab to go through your images. I have some stuff in here I'm working on for a Cheeto RC truck. Close that one. Alright, let's go back in here. There we go. So this is the one that we chose. Perfect lettering, right? Perfect lettering. So now we go back in with our W tool, and you hold Shift and just click each of these letters, right? And this is selecting them. Now you could go to 1 and, you know, say select all, but I think this is much cleaner. So then we go in here and say copy, Control Tab. There's our dog. We can go up in here to image, and image is canvas size. We can make that canvas size a little bigger. I would like to change its height. I'll leave its height 12, and we'll change this one to 8. Oh, yeah, we gotta go bigger. Undo. Let's just do this. Alright, select all, copy, new. Select all is Command S, copy is Command V. In here it'll give you your clipboard, but of course we want something bigger than that. This one is letter. Simply double click on that guy, and we just go in here and say paste. It's giving us our dog. The move tool is V on the keyboard. It gives you this arrow and a multi-directional thing. If you have that selected, you can use it, or you can just press the up arrow and hold it, and it's going to move that right up to wherever you want it to be, which is around there. One of the things about making a stencil is you have to make sure there's enough room to handle the stencil. I know that sounds like kind of obvious stuff, but it kind of isn't. You know, for me, I very often think this edge around this piece of artwork will be perfect. You know, I can hold on to that, and that'll be great. But actually, the artwork comes right up to the edge of this, and so it's very easy to overspray. And what we don't have to do, what we don't want to do, is create a situation where we have to mask the heck out of everything around. You know what I mean? Like, you want your stencil to be big enough that you can work within it easily. I mean, you have to be careful with the airbrush because overspray is a big problem, you know. But if you work inside tightly, you should give yourself enough space that the edge isn't going to read. You know, like if I spray this right now, I will leave that square. Now, if we were intentionally doing that, well, that's one thing, but the logo does not have that square. So we don't want to do that. I'm using black because it's clear, but we're not. I mean, the box because that's how it came. But we're gonna, definitely change that when we get into the Silhouette software. All right. So same thing again. Control Tab into this one. Actually, let's go through here again. Hey, all the way. Decide not to use that one. Hey. Don't save. Again, Control Tab. This one didn't work out either. Don't save. Control Tab. All right, this one did work. All right, so then we want to use G again, which is our paint bucket tool. We use the magic wand. We use the eyedropper tool to turn that into the color of the inside of the dog stencil. So now we hit B on the keyboard. Actually, we'll go with G again. So now we got black G, and we want to just hit each of these letters. I feel like a lot of my friends say, what you should do is create another layer, spray it black, and then just those letters are selected, hit delete, and then it would, drop those letters out. But because we have them right now and now they're black, we can just say copy. Whoops. A great thing is undo. We want to go copy. Yeah, there we go. I don't even know what I hit there. And then we go into this one. Command V is paste. And then we go back to V, which is our move tool. This Letterkenny is too small. So Command T is the transform tool. You want to go ahead and make this guy as big as you can. A great new thing that Photoshop did, I think about 2 years ago, is changed the transform tool from being not being symmetrical. Like when you first grab it, if you want it to be symmetrical, you have to hold the Option key. More often than not, I would say people want it to stay symmetrical. So it's great that they switched that. I think that's a big improvement in the experience. Let's jump back in here for a sec. Right, so we got our logo, and so this is what it looks like. The dog is a little small, and the words Letterkenny are a little big. So we want to go back to Photoshop and make this one. Oh, what you do is you say deselect. Command D is deselect. Now, if we do transform is just going to select the artwork on the page instead of the whole page. If you do select all, you're going to get the whole page. Let's try this. Let's say enter. I'm going to go back up here again into image rotation. Actually, this is what I think I'll do. I'll do Command N is new. In here we can switch to landscape. And then we just grabbed that other thing, so we can paste it in there. Wait a minute, undo. That thing is not landscape. Image rotation. 90 degrees clockwise. All right, now, paste. Oh, yeah. Cancel. Command V. Command T. All right, so we want the Letterkenny text here to be just about as big as we can. Whatever size we can fit inside the piece of our space. So got to go a little smaller. Remember, we were just talking about giving yourself some padding, right? All right. So this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, as you guys just saw me go through setting up. So the reason I'm using that is that's the size of my transparency film. So this is as big as I can go, which is fine. That's what I wanted to do. So now we jump back, Control Tab. And we go in right here and we do select all, copy, and paste, which is Command V. So now we're still using the move tool. So that kind of works out, right? So I have it set so it'll click hardcore when it's at center. So this is kind of what the Letterkenny ad logo kind of looks like, right? And there it is, right? But this is the one from the show. Seems like the dog is even smaller. All right, so let's say transform again. You know, you can go up here and simply change the percentage of how big the image is, and say you want to go with 75, and that's what it'll do. I feel like on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, that dog is going to be pretty small. But that might be okay, you know. So let's get right up in there and take a look at them. All right, so islands and bridges. If you guys have been with me before, you've heard me talk about this. You want to look at a stencil like you're looking at a topographical map. It'll tell you pieces that are going to be hanging alone and pieces that need more support and that kind of stuff. So we look around. The color, what we're going to cut out is the white, right? So we need the white not to be isolated. Like right here, B on the keyboard, X switches from foreground to background color. My background color is white. My brush is entirely too large. I need it to be about a 6. All right. All right. 7 will work. And we're in white. So all we want to do is take a look around and see what pieces are going to hold on. A lot of these look good. It's good to make the transitions that do touch the edge a little bigger so that when you run the cutter, it's not giving us a little tiny support, right? So this guy here is alone, you know, so we want to go through and build a little bridge there, right? So he holds on. Same here, right? I don't think it takes away from the dog in any way. I think it just makes sure that we don't have pieces flopping around. Same here. Right. There we go. So again, that doesn't change a lot, but it makes it easier for the cutter. Anything else? This stuff here I figured would look like that. But you know, I wasn't totally sure, so I wanted to give it a shot, right? Just one sec, you guys. Nothing like your headphones fading out on you halfway through a program. I love it. Luckily, these are the Beat X, and I feel like they charge really, really, really quickly. Cool. So we're going to go back to where we were. Let's go through tabs again. All right. Is that the one we were using? No, that seems to be the one. Definitely got to change the name of that guy. So they're pretty close together. In the show. Take a look one more time. Whoops. It's easier to see here. So it seems like the Letterkenny is really large and the dog is really small. This is pretty much about as big as we can make the Letterkenny words, because then it's going to start going over the edge. So now that we're in here and we've brought the letters in black, I'm thinking about trying the other way. Create a second layer, which is Command Shift N. Take your paint bucket tool, which is G. Hit it. Paint the entire layer black. Oh, can't do that. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah. Let's say undo. Right here on this layer. Let's hit it. Oh, I knew it would do that. Make us do them one at a time again. Though, how much work is this, really? Not that bad. Definitely not that bad. So now we got white, and that looks pretty good, and we did our islands and bridges, which I think are going to be okay. Huh. Where did we do that, it seems? Oh, yeah, here. Oh, I didn't do it there. Oh, there we go. Select all. Here. Let's do undo. Like there was another one that we were doing a little better. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this one, deselect. This one we want to hide, and then we want to say paste. So right up here, a little over. Actually, I was saying they were really close together, right? Just leave this open. Tab. That. Just leave this right here. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes you have no choice but to sheet. Just kidding. So we want these guys to be kind of close together. So we're going to use our move tool, bring these guys pretty close together, right? And then we want to say M, which is the marquee tool. Drag and select this whole dog thing. Right. Actually, you know what? I'm going to deselect. We're going to do this with the magic wand tool, which selects everything that's white, and then we do Command Shift I, which is selecting everything that isn't white, and we just hit delete. Right? Then we still have this selection. Save that. We go with G, which is paint bucket tool, which is G on the keyboard, and then X to switch our colors, and then the paint bucket tool in the background, where we see we have nothing, right? So we can't do it that way. Let's say deselect. Let's go back. Undo, undo, undo. Deselect. I think this is going to work fine in the software for Silhouette. If not, we'll figure something else out. All right. And so this is the layout that we're going to use. Pretty straightforward. I think that the only other thing I noticed that we have to fix is the R, right? So we talk about islands and bridges, the R, and any letter that has an interior space, circles, I mean, 0, 0, 9, a lot of numbers, even like depending on how you write a 4, 6, all those kind of letters have have this captive area inside, and we need them to be able to we need them to be able to not lose their interior dots, like this guy here. So I'm going to make a little swipe through here that holds onto that piece, and then when we're all done, we just hit the black around the little piece that we created. So for this, all I do is click, hold shift, click again, and you get a straight, looks like that one was relatively straight holder for that part of the letter. So we're going to go in here a little bit closer and see how things look. You know, we did some work with our islands and bridges in here. I think it looks all right. I think we're going to be okay. Mostly. Looks like there's a little tiny spot right there that we don't need. Don't need a 28. You know, we got to be way down here. And then we want to go click. Undo X to switch between colors, and then we want to click and then hold shift and click right there. That looks terrible, so maybe we just go click and click, and if we back out, really can't even see that. But the only thing is it's going to fix our stencil. Then, you know, that's what we want to do. We want to make sure as much of this stuff's going to hold out as possible. You know. So there we go. Maybe let's just make our. If you go up here where it says 14 and put a smaller number in there, you can get away with a lot. Right. And now that doesn't look great, but it doesn't look as bad as the other one did. Everything else looks really, really fine. And I think it looks great. So now we're just going to back out, take a look at it. Everything looks really fine. We're going to take this one out because we decided not to use it. So that's right click, delete layer. And we're going to take these guys and group them. So you hold shift, you grab this guy. Hold shift, grab this guy. Whoops. Shift, shift, shift. And say group. So we right click. Well, I guess you know what, you can't do that here. Say okay, then shift like that, and then group. That's funny. Group from layers. Okay, group one. So now they're all together. So if we need to, like for example, use the move tool, which is V on the keyboard, we can grab them and move them around. Command Z. And move everything, right? Move everything together. What we're going to do here is we're going to center them up and center them on the sides. Whoops. It looks pretty well centered right now anyway. And then we're going to send this thing to the cutter. Now the only problem with this is when we're done with it, we're probably going to have, we're going to send it to the silhouette. We're probably going to have a few pieces. But so now that we're done messing with that a little bit, we do Command Shift S, which is save as. For me, it offers cloud documents or my machine. This machine is kind of fine. We want to call it the Letterkenny logo. So we just say logo. Try to always write like you would write. I so often see folks having like a bunch of weird numbers and stuff for file names, especially if they downloaded them from somewhere and those guys have already come up with, you know, their language and the way they want to say things in the computer. Just makes it harder for other people to understand. I say, you know. All right, so now we created this and saved it. So now we're going to go in here to our Silhouette Studio, and we're going to go into Design. I know you can see that I already worked on this a little. So the first thing we do, is if we say New, is set up the size of what we're working with. All right, so this software shows us our cutting mat. This right here is our cutting mat. This is 12 by 12 divided into 1-inch squares. This guy here, 12 by 12 divided into 1-inch squares. So really, really convenient, you know. I really dig that. So it's simple to get it right, you know. So all you do is fill in this information. It'll automatically fill these top few when you connect up this system. Media size is the size that we're working on. The largest size we can work on is obviously 12 by 12, and we're working just under that. I've made a number of 12 by 12 stencils, and they're awesome. You know, for example, doing really large letters. You know, Halloween I wanted to do this year, and that's you know, 14 letters or something like that. HALLOWEEN. So that is nine letters. All right, so we set it up however we want to do it. These are options. You can cut it upside down, cut it sideways. You can show the print border, which is if we hit print, that's how much it would give us. And then this is the most important part. This right here is the size of the media that you're working with. And then, of course, this check mark here, which is constrained media to cutting mat. So that if you're not cutting off the mat, you can cut into the rollers, and this is a super big problem. So most of the rest of this stuff is kind of straightforward. You know, you just fill in these numbers here. If you have, you know, if you want to change some things, you can come in here. This is, you know, some grid options. I recently had to change a few things because I was having trouble seeing in the map. Another thing is snap to grid. You know, like that's a very cool and powerful program because action, because then it changes the way you move things and you understand exactly, you know, where something clicks into. I rarely use it, even though I definitely do think it's cool. And then this over here is registration marks, which we'd only use if we're making a multiple layer stencil, you know. All right. How are we holding up here, guys? You still with me? All right. I was hoping you was. Let's see if we can get anything out of this equipment again. Make sure it's turned on. I'm often waiting for it to work, and it's not turned on. So. Right in here, you guys can see what I was listening to. All right, cool. So we got the page set up. I'm going to turn off the grid in this particular case. It seems a little distracting, and we mostly hang out here in the page setup. Now this stuff is all set. So now what? You know, so now we do Command O or Open, and we go to Recent. I'm on Recent, and then we put Letterkenny in here. And this Mac. Oh, some days, man, doesn't help. So then you just jump back over here and say Command Shift S. Where do you want me? Where are you going to save it to? So we say desktop, right there. Let's put it in our Halloween stencils. I want to go back. It can, Silhouette can totally read Photoshop documents. I just don't care for it. There we go. Enter, enter. Over to our Silhouette. Alright. Go to desktop. Recent. We just did it. Look at all this stuff. Nothing's worse than being on your own machine and not able to find something. All right. Now these flyout menus are totally flexible. We can move them wherever we want. This, you see, is a big problem, right? This is that our artwork is entirely too large for our piece of material. So this is our 8.5 by 11 sheet, and this is how much bigger it is. Yeah. All right, so then we just grab that key and bring it right up to us. We can mess around, but we can also just do this. It's going to put it right where we want it to be. Now we take a look at it and we think like, well, this is proportionally what we wanted it to look like, right? But we can go bigger in the space that we have, right? Even without, what we've already talked about getting, having edge space to be able to spray with. Same thing, go back in here, square up our stencil, and then you just hit enter, right? Oh, this one, sorry, that's Photoshop. You just click off of it, and there we go, right? So that's that's what it's going to look like. So what we need next is we need to close up our page setup flyout panel and go back up here to panels and use trace. Trace is without a doubt the second most popular program for action that I use in Silhouette. It's really, really great and powerful stuff. All right. So initially what we're going to do, because the challenge number one is going to be not selecting the edge of the dog or the square. So we go up here into the corner inside the square and we click and drag. And we try to stay in here. Alright, so we just need to make our box a little bigger. Right, and so we see everything. Right, and then after you've got what you feel like you're really going to want, the yellow is what we're going to be spraying. Then you click trace, and so that has traced it. So now you grab a piece of this, and here it is. Right. Now we can go over here and hit the eraser tool. Click here, hold shift. I think it's the deal is it goes straight in this program if you hold shift. Oh, don't want to erase any of our. Oh man, I guess it doesn't do it in this program. I'm usually using an Apple Pencil. Not today though. Oh, got a piece of the side there. careful of the thing. All right. Back to the move tool in here. So we can close up. We're going to move trace over. They're, like I said, they're awesomely flexible. We're going to back out here a little so we can see everything. Oh yeah, I forgot that. That's basically what it to be. No big deal because we're going to trace it again. So select trace area. We just trace this. And we say, yeah, trace. So now this whole deal can just be moved away. All right. So now we've created our stencil, right? And it looks pretty good. I don't think we can get it much bigger, which is too bad because I do feel like it's kind of small. And if you think of the entire print being the size of this box, then I think the Letterkenny, the Stormy's image itself is only about 2.5 inches tall. That is going to be an extremely tight cut for the machine. 2.5 inches is like this much, and that'll be that's a complicated dog to cut that many times, but that's what we want to send it to do. What we're going to send it to is the Silhouette Cameo. I'm not going to show that to you because it's honestly really not interesting. I will show you a setup for it, but the cutting itself is just not anything we need to put on camera. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to use this surface. This is tacky and laid out the same as the image, as the grid that you're looking at. Then we take our material, which you guys probably can't see, is clear, clear plastic. Get it in there and lay it down. Like I've had a little problem with some of it rippling. So I'm using a brayer on it to try to make sure I get a good bind on the plastic sticking to the surface. I've had silhouettes now for about 6 years, and I've used them a lot for this purpose. And of course, every once in a while, the stickiness goes. And once the stickiness goes, it's no good. But there's a cool trick, which is that if you wash it in the sink and let it dry, the stickiness comes back, if you can believe that. Someone told me that, and I said, yeah, whatever, So that's what we do, is we set it up like this in the same space as it is in the video, and we put it into the silhouette. Now, like I said, I'm not going to show you that. We're just going to start working with it. So hold on just 1 second. Almost, you guys. Okay. Done too late. Oh! Always hard to move midstream. That's actually a double entendre, which is kind of amusing. Alright, so let's switch up to over here so that I can talk to you guys on this side. Alright. Hey guys, so now we're over here on the other side of the room, and we're going to start working on the stencil. So in the interest of saving some time, I produced the stencil in the cutter already. We loaded it in there, and here it is. So now we're going to turn on our lights. I don't know if this is going to be too bright for you guys. Does help the color of the rest of the room. Now, my hope was that you guys could see these stencils better, and so far I just don't think that has been the deal. So I feel like we'll just try, and we'll kind of see what happens. This is some masking materials, and this is the Letterkenny stencil that we're going to use. This is both pieces. Maybe I can find something really dark that we can put under it. I don't even know if that will help. Something red, something gray. Well, once we spray them, it'll make sense to you. You know what? I'm going to send the other one anyway. We're going to work with this one, but we're going to send that one. All right? Because why not? All right, so let me just stick this guy in there. We'll run it in the background. Okay, so that's all we do is load it in and say, okay, send. And we'll see how it goes. All right, so that one is running. So the next thing that I want to do, I feel like this is really bright. Can you guys see any of these stencils? Sorry, let's try to hold one up. This is the positive stencil, which you can see is extremely complicated. Obviously the dog image. I know you guys can barely see that and it sucks. So that's the positive, and this one would be the negative. Now the problem with this